just because of my past and some of the things I've struggled with and what we call core beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sets my emotional self over here
Mm-hmm.
and separate from, the way I view things.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
so it kind of it kind of numbed me in a sense, and
Mm-hmm.
some of us do struggle with that, and
Yeah.
that's kind of why I seek help as well to
Yeah.
try to open up myself and my relationship and move forward there too,
Mm-hmm.
because Lord knows that's been a issue for
Yeah.
years of being able to express myself emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
and as a man, right? Like that's some of the things we you struggle with. Well, I'm a man. I
Should I
can't.
be
Yeah.
yeah.
Should I express myself
Yeah.
emotionally? I don't. I can't show those parts of me, and
Right.
that was always a part of me, like in a group setting
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah.
But I think that's where somebody like you comes in, and then somebody that I have a knowledge in those things about myself. I can say, hey,
Right.
in this setting,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be a man right now.
Correct.
You don't have to be somebody that you want to show me. You can be
Correct.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the biggest
That
part
that is.
of what we provide in the treatment setting is, hey, you can be yourself right here and right
Mm-hmm.
now. You don't have anything to prove to me,
Right.
right? You don't have anything to prove to these other guys. Like you can be yourself. And I
Right.
think that's one of the things I was grateful for with
Mm-hmm.
the counselor that I saw, even going in treatment and the person I see today. But it's like, okay, I can finally be myself,
Mm-hmm.
even though it was a struggle. I'm trying to show you somebody that I want everybody else to see, you
Right.
know. But it took him telling me that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see what you're trying to do here, man. Like, you're not fooling me.
Right.
You might be fooling everybody else in here, but
Right.
you're not fooling me. I want to see the real you, and it's
Correct.
okay
Mm-hmm.
because until you show me the real you, there's not going to be any change.
That's
And
right.
I think you came here for a reason, and that's kind of what we try to convey to those that come into treatment. We were talking
Absolutely.
to Jason and I were saying this the other day, like, what is treatment? And we
Mm.
were discussing that. These are the things where you come in, we provide you with an opportunity to change. It's not like an immediate change, but we
Right.
take you out of the lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we separate you from the drugs and the alcohol and
Right.
whatever else it is and provide you a small little window to be yourself.
Right.
And then the change starts to happen in recovery,
Mm-hmm.
in a 12-step program and following through with some
Right.
of those things.
And I'd like to also say be yourself, but also find yourself because some people can get lost from what I've seen in that
Yeah,
lifestyle. So being removed
absolutely.
from it is a chance to find yourself and also acquire some tools
Mm,
that you weren't aware of or that you weren't applying the right way or whatever the case may
yeah.
be to facilitate a sober lifestyle
Hmm.
outside of the treatment setting.
So, I said I was going to ask you this on the ride over, and I want to get, and I'm not trying to put you on a spot, quiz you or anything like this, but I want to get the clinical definition of addiction, right? Kind
Okay.
of what your idea of it was before you learned about, the AA and, that type of stuff
Mm-hmm.
of what we defined addiction is and stuff like that.
Just
Yeah.
no knowledge, no nothing
Yeah.
going into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuck on something
Mm-hmm.
not good for you for
Yeah.
some reason. That's what
That's
that's how I thought
wait.
of it.
That's the definition in college. Is that what
No,
they
that's the
give you?
Scott definition. The definition in college is in the DSM-5.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
TR. Yeah, that's what
And
we
that's
use to diagnose.
yeah. Absolutely.
So going through those criteria and matching
Mhm.
up your ones and your twos and your A's and your
Yeah.
B's and your
So addiction
timelines,
was just criteria to
it was
you.
very much very
And isn't
much.
that something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, to to others, and and I don't want to use this term, the outside world, but it is kind of like, because
Sure.
people in addiction are in their own little world,
Well,
right?
when I looked at it and
Yeah.
I look at the criteria, and that's what I thought addiction was, you start applying these stories you've heard
Hmm.
and it aligns with this criteria. And it's like, wait a minute.
Oh Lord, I forgot to turn my
Well,
phone off.
it's okay, Jeff.
And
You're well put
that's
together.
Wendy. She's trying to see if I can do some work. Let me text her. I'm like, go ahead, I'm listening.
So so applying what those stories were to that criteria
Yeah.
really kind of crossed a gap and made a bridge to
Hmm.
understanding
Yeah.
the effects and the
Yeah.
clinical
Yeah. Yeah.
mindset of what addiction looks like.
Hmm. Yeah. I just, that really that's kind of profound to me, that, because I know about the DSM-5, right? And I
Sure.
understand the criteria, but is that, for some of these newer interns and
Mm,
people kind of coming in that hasn't had any experience whatsoever, even with people in their family that struggle
mm,
with addiction, is that, that's just what it is. It's numbers and criteria.
right.
And if you fit this, that means you're addicted, right?
And right.
And if you fit this, that means you have this mental health disorder.
Correct.
It's a bunch of disorders, and look, that's how we get paid, right? We
That's
get
it.
paid off of criteria and
Hmm.
disorders,
Yeah.
right? And that's what the insurance companies look at it through,
They have to have it.
right?
They
And
have to
so
have it.
that's a struggle. You like, this person needs help.
Definitely.
Well, but the criteria doesn't say
That's
that
right.
they need help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you saw this person come in today and then they're at day 15 and actually there is some change happening, but because you don't see the criteria, we're not going to give this
Mm-hmm.
person any more opportunity to stay in treatment. Like, that right there is the most
That's
heartbreaking thing
heartbreaking.
sometimes.
You took the words out of my mouth. That's heartbreaking.
And but the unfortunate thing is we got to go by those
Mm-hmm.
their guidelines,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't matter what somebody may struggle with, and how severe it is. If you're not meeting the criteria,
Criteria.
you know
Mm-hmm.
God, man, that's
I
just,
know.
I just kind of had a profound moment there just thinking about it like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, and when you talked about interns and, as being an intern in the beginning, it was the book that I had, but it
Mhm.
was the stories that I got that started to make the book make sense to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And to see that this can apply here, this can apply there, in different ways without stretching or bending anything, but just saying the criteria didn't mean this. But man, when you hear this guy's story,
Mhm.
it's part and parcel. It's right there.
Mhm.
This is what he has. If that's what insurance
Yeah,
needs to know.
yeah, absolutely. And that's part of it too, right? As a director, you got to make
Ooh.
sure all these notes and all these treatment plans and everything is meeting the
That's
criteria.
right. Legal contacts, follow ups with family,
Oh man,
all of it.
I know we were talking about this. Like, that was the worst part about being a clinician for me, was just the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I love getting in a group and I love talking with the guys and I love
Sure.
them talking to each other. And like you said, they kind of run the group. But man, afterwards, that was,
You got the
that,
fallout.
yeah, yeah, right.
The, the clinical fallout.
That was the worst part,
Yeah.
But sometimes that's also where the magic can happen too, because you base your next session with this person off the information they gave you,
That's right.
and you go in and you look at some criteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hey, how do I now take this information and provide a solution to it?
Correct. Correct.
So the other question I had for you, and you kind of talked about it a little bit, was okay, there's your textbooks and all this, and then you get that blue book,
Mm-hmm.
which is also a text
That's right.
for some people in recovery reading that. How did you? All right, so I kind of look at it too as a workbook and a textbook, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's a way of, it's a design for living for me, right?
Right.
You go into it looking at it as text as well.
Right.
right? And what did you see out of that changed your perspective and allowed you to relate to us more?
So the beginning of the book, I think
Mhm.
Kevin James says it's first
Yeah.
80,
Mhm.
give or take pages that are, this is how you use the book. And there's stories that illustrate
Right.
these different struggles that people have had. Um, I look at the book as a huge resource and
Mhm.
almost backbone for recovery.
Yeah,
That's how I see
for
it.
sure.
Pulling from it at different times in group, having other group members say, well, in the book it says this on, and it's on this page, and they know it right
Mhm.
away. That to me tells me that that book is a huge resource for
Mhm.
them. So I've got to be using it in some way, shape, or form
Yeah.
to facilitate these groups and understanding.
Says some in some instances that's the only book any
That's
of us
it.
has ever read.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've
But
heard
they
that
but they
too,
can go straight to a page number and
and
and,
know
and
it.
read it verbatim.
Yep.
Speak it out to you verbatim because that's just part of it's part of the life and a text that has helped many of us
Mm-hmm.
remain sober for multiple
Right.
years, and look, some people know it front and back and upside down,
Mm-hmm.
sideways. My brain just doesn't work that way. I got to
Mm-hmm.
go back to it and read it,
Yeah.
and sometimes, hey, some we can be too smart,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's something that you'd mentioned earlier about,
yeah,
I've been here and I've done that. You don't want to get 6 months ahead of the patient or the
right,
client. You don't
hmm
want to get, hey, here's your issue, because
yeah,
that's not what they're there. They're there to figure that issue out on their
absolutely,
own time,
yeah,
and
and you got to
us
meet them where
as a
they're at.
clinician is just waiting to meet them where they are.
For sure, man. And that's I think, you know, new clinicians sometimes want to, take what you may be going through in this person and try to put y'all together and
Mm-hmm.
group you in the same category, but we're person centered focused and we have to
Mm-hmm.
be
Right.
because each individual struggles with their own things.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so I have to treat what you're going through today,
That's right.
not what you may be going through in a couple of weeks too,
Correct.
because that's where people can get into this
Right.
future
Future
tripping, is what
tripping.
we call
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I think oh, gotta watch out there. I think I always like to hear somebody that with your education and your knowledge on what your perspective was reading that book,
Yeah.
and like how it changed your view,
Yeah. It after having read it and been through it,
hmm
um, part of the coursework is going to AA meetings.
yeah.
Whenever I was in grad
hmm
school,
Oh yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that's part of going in and
Okay.
seeing the different things, different stories, and
hmm
those types of things. And it's almost like they're trying to give you a taste of all of it to see
yeah.
what you like.
hmm
And
Yeah, you're either going to want to do this or not going.
right,
You're
it's
right.
either for you or
We were
it's
talking
not.
about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was certainly something that the importance of the book
hmm
was prevalent from the get go, from the first meeting I went into in grad school.
Yeah.
And then reading through it, it jumps off the page with
hmm
direction,
Yeah.
and it's not sugarcoating anything. There is no question.
hmm
This is it. And
Yeah.
I think that's why so many people in
Relate
addiction
to
that
it.
are in recovery
Mhm.
gravitate towards it
hmm
and are able to hold on to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's books I can quote that I've read that I
Yeah.
love for certain reasons.
Oh yeah.
The big book sometimes is that book for a person that
hmm
has to or
Grow
wants to
and
maintain sobriety.
try to seek recovery. Yeah,
Yeah.
and long term sobriety. Yeah, for sure, man. So, we're getting closer to our time.
Mm.
Um, Running a facility,
Yeah.
right? And having people under you and getting that kind of started. Um, and do you want to talk a little bit about the Hammond location and
Sure.
kind of what you do there
Sure.
and what you offer?
Yeah. Yeah. Our Hammond branch, we have an IOP that's in the mornings
hmm
in person. We have an OP on Wednesdays that's in person. We have a virtual program that we do in the evenings for those
hmm
people with transportation or childcare issues. and I also began an adolescent program to kind of reach
Yeah.
back into my high school sense.
Yeah.
And I started that
Right up your
program.
alley.
Yeah. Well, now the classroom's virtual, so
Now, and in adolescence, that's both substance abuse and mental health,
yeah, with
right?
co-occurring disorders.
Co-occurring.
It's a co-occurring disorder, so it's if there's an adjustment disorder or
Yeah.
anxiety or
Which you see a lot of with adolescents.
yes, and when we take them through the assessment, our initial assessment, one of the questions in there is, do you use substances to treat mental health symptoms? And that's after having asked, do you have any depression? Do you have any anxiety, any anger, any mood swings? Run the gamut. And a lot of times I'll see the light bulb come on.
Yeah.
Wait, I am.
Yeah, I am using something.
I am using something for that. And to catch it at that early of an age, I think is very important because that's an insight before they're even in a program.
Right. That's an
something
insight,
they've gained.
Yeah, insight into what we realize is a solution, not the problem, right?
Correct.
What we talk about in recovery is that, the substances, the alcohol, the drugs were all just a solution to the real problem.
Correct.
And so what you're able to do with these adolescents is see that, hey, you're using this because of this, and it's very like I didn't know that as a teenager. I didn't know that I was masking some struggles with this, and it just is what took all that away.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, the longer I was in addiction, the more I started to understand if I did this, then I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't
Right.
have to feel this.
Right.
I was doing it for the solution, but not understanding it.
Without ever realizing the
Right.
why.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, when I went into treatment and got into a 12-step program and started to learn more about myself and realizing that everything I was doing was just the solution to all these other things in my life.
That's right. That's right.
Very important, I think. Very good work to try to,
Yeah.
have these, youngsters, adolescents be able to see those things.
Yeah.
I can say youngster now.
You can say
Yeah, I
youngster.
didn't
Well, you're
know
put
you did
together.
that.
Yeah.
Well put together. It, when you have that title, you can
You can throw
say
it around
those-
as much as you
throw it
want,
around.
yeah.
Youngsters, young lads. What?
Oh man.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, dude, man, look, I thought this was great. I loved having you here, man. I really think being able to see that side of things,
Sure.
where your background and where you come from and not having the experiences that we have in a treatment and clinical standpoint to help others.
Right.
And you have an educational knowledge and the clinical knowledge and the criteria knowledge to
criteria.
help with
Mm-hmm.
you educating yourself in the why somebody struggles
Correct.
with addiction too. You learned about the allergy and the obsession, and you also see that a lot of them start to get a relationship with a higher power and
That's right.
change, and they're going to meetings and they're
Yeah.
doing these things. Like that's something else too, man.
That's what brought me
Right?
into the
That's-
entire field.
Yeah.
Was I want to see
And
some
it's
change.
like our families see the change.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And as a clinician, you watch the change, and that's so
Right.
man. How great is that, dude?
It
That's
is.
like one
It's
of the
pretty
best
profound.
feelings in the world to see somebody that came through your treatment center in your group and they come back and they're
Mhm.
like, man, I just want this thing that you said helped me, and I
Yeah.
remember when you told me this and
Mhm.
it flipped a switch. Like
Mhm.
to have that impact, man. That's
It's
God.
huge.
I thank God for those moments.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm glad that you're doing so well. And I had nothing to do with it really.
Right.
It was all something greater than myself.
Correct.
And you need to keep doing and plugging away. and doing what you're
Absolutely.
doing,
And
bro.
that validates all the work that we
Yeah,
do on our side
absolutely.
that we don't know we're doing
Right,
a lot of
like,
times.
you want to say I'm doing this to help people, and you tell yourself that, and And when you do have those moments where somebody tells you, "Hey, you really helped
Yeah.
me," and like that makes it, it makes it worth it.
One
You
thing that
know?
gets me all the time is someone saying, you said this one time, and it's like,
Mhm.
I don't even remember
Yeah, did I
saying that. I
say
don't
that?
even did I
Right.
say that?
Yeah.
And then, but the impact that it had on
Mhm.
someone is like, man, that's why I'm doing it. That's
Yeah.
why I'm doing it.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, Scott, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, it was good. Now, Jason wasn't here, but so now he'll understand that this can go on without him as
Yeah,
well.
Jason, you can
Yeah,
take your
Jason, just stay on
vacations,
vacation all you
approved or
want,
not.
man.
It's up to you. Wendy will call.
Yeah, yeah. A couple people call in, but we're well put together. So,
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, Jeff.
all right,
We
that's
got to own it.
all right, Scott. Well, thanks for joining me,
Thank you.
man, and we appreciate y'all. Don't forget to, I think, let me see how Jason says this. Like, subscribe, and join us again next week. And we will see you soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.